Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. This one's kind of unexpected. The Raptor's completely ready to go. We just did the alignment on it, but we're going riding here coming pretty soon in a big group ride. And you know, I'd just take the Raptor, but hey, I got like a little bit of time, like half a day or so. And I mean, long travel KTM has not seen the light of day in about 4 years, 5 years. It's been stacked up in a storage unit. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? The Raptor 700 is badass, but the KTM 525 with a full Baldwin racing motor, pretty sure that's its daddy. So, and it is no joke. It's a handful. So I tell people that the only bikes that I keep are the ones that scare me whenever I ride them, and this one, at least once a ride. It gets out of hand, but you know everything is there on the quad that needs to be there for you to kind of keep your butt on the seat and keep going. But you can see it's got some a collection of dust on it. That looks like sawdust almost. Tires are flat. The rears actually look okay. They don't look flat, but this one's flat. I want to say it has tire balls in it. That's why the only reason it's not on the ground. This one's probably, that one's actually has air in it also. So I've noticed some things. I rode it maybe 3 times, and I just, you know, you ride an older bike, things happen, and you fix them as they come up, and you keep on riding it. But this was a known issue with the KTM. You can see right there, lower stem cracked. This one might actually run, but if this were to wobble a little bit and this crack were to spread out, then you lose your handlebars. We don't want that, so that's very bad. I think I remember this throttle cable. I had ordered a +2. It fits here, but I think if you fully lock the handlebars, I think it rubs, and you can see right there it's kind of pinched. So if we can get to the carb easy, y'all know I freaking hate carburetors. Just because my sinuses, I know how to work on them, I just don't like to. But if we can get to the carburetor easy, I got the cable already. It's been sitting on the shelf for many, many years. No Euromusty throttle on this one. I don't have one. I wish I did. And this KTM, you know, I don't want to, you know, beat it up too bad. I definitely ride it like I stole it. But like at the end of the day, if I bend a frame or something like that, it's going to be big money for a new chromoly frame, or, you know, like something custom from somebody in Switzerland. Same thing with the A-arms. This was Mike's Brit's race bike. I still have his wife's race bike also. It's out in storage, and you know, I've been brainstorming that one, especially here lately with Rocket Ron rebuilding his KTM. I'm brainstorming colors. I don't know if I want to go full wild with it or go like black and orange and make it, you know, a killer version of what OEM could have been. Not to say that KTM didn't do it right, because KTM, this quad was before its time. This one's an '09. I want to say there's like 850 in the U.S. total of the 525. There's more 450s, but of the 525, I want to say there's like 850. We took a little bump about 2 or 3, I guess the last time it went out, so like 4 years ago. Wrath, freaking awesome. They still make parts for it. I was able to call them, say, hey, I bent my bumper. They said, hey, we'll get one in production and get it to you. So the KTM's kind of unique. It has these front bolted mounts versus everything else kind of bolts to the side, like the YFZ and all. Long travel shocks from the factory, freaking killer. Mike Britz actually did all this just to reinforce the A-arms. All these are gussets that he custom made or bought from somebody. Had it all welded in. They don't come with Zerk fittings on the ball joints. I've never seen any quad do that, but he went ahead and pre-drilled them. Same thing with the flex bars. He put a Zerk fitting up here, so he was a Zerk fitting wizard. The carrier probably came with one. I need to get a cap for this guy just so it doesn't pack full of dirt. I think the big one that's on my mind is I noticed that it was dripping oil, and you can see there's oil in this factory skid plate, and it's a little bit bowed, probably from the oil saturating it. The KTMs, they got a weird drain plug. There's only one drain plug. It's right there. And I want to say with the last time I took one out, it goes in 3 threads, and then it's got like a tunnel to the transmission. So it's got a big open spot in the threads, and then it picks up the threads later on. So the bolt's probably that long. It connects by 4 threads, and something about it, I don't know if it's the angle or what, or the crush washer that's in it, but they just don't like to seal after many, many years of getting used. So that's unfortunate. It's got a leak. I'm hoping this is not the sprocket. I'm hoping this is chain lube from the last ride, because you can see the chain still has oil on it. So I'm hoping this is not the seal behind the sprocket. It's not the end of the world, but we only got, not that much time before we end up going riding. I went and bought red zip ties way back whenever I first got this bike, and was going to replace all the hidden zip ties with red to match the hyper wheels, because, hey, little details that other people wouldn't notice right away. The first step is to get the seat cover cleaned up. It was on its bumper, stacked up, and I think its brother leaked on it a little bit. So I'm hoping just use the 4Works cheat, a little bit of pledge. If nothing else, I'm hoping it'll just even it out. And it evened it out. All right, that'll be the end of this video. Appreciate you watching. Just kidding. We got so much work to do. Oh. So this is an MX seat. This isn't actually an XC seat, which just means the seat pan, the foam is a little bit smaller. The XC seat sat way higher, and some people didn't like it because it's a higher center of gravity. But man, the KTM is like, I haven't seen another bike even attempt to do what KTM did in 2008. So this is the filter. It uses a dirt bike filter, and it uses this like elbow that you kind of pull up and bend. Like, that's full access right there, sir. The one problem I know is this was a used plastic. The whole set of black plastics were. They're kind of hard to come by. You can still get them from Switzerland and ship them, for like $800 or so. But I think I got this set in state. Didn't have to ship them anywhere. But the only problem was somebody had cut holes in this, which isn't the end of the world necessarily. Like, we could jet the carb for eternity and try to get the air fuel mixture right, but you can't be cutting holes in your airbox on a carburetor and taking it to the trail. So you gotta jet the carb for all of that. And this one has the Ranchero mod. I'm not sure exactly who tuned it, but I was running the white plastic on it, just because the holes weren't in the white plastic. And you talk about freaking spot on. Like, the throttle response is there. You gotta watch you gotta ride it for sure. This is not, it's the MX carb, so it's got a little bit more technology than the 08 Honda carb. It's still a flat slide carb, but it's the MX carb. So flat slide is, I want to say, like $800. This carburetor is like $1,300, and it's badass. So the other thing with KTM is the rear shock is a no link from the factory. So all the ground clearance, I don't know about long travel. I'd have to measure it because I'd have to see what the YFZ uses. KTM adjustable axle, bam, from the factory. No need to swap all that junk out. This one, I don't know if it's as hollow like the DS used, because the DS was supposed to be unbendable until somebody bent it. But chromoly frame, only manufacturer to do that. The other thing they did was everything on top of the bike this way, all 8mm. So you can literally be in the pit and carry an 8mm with you and have this thing stripped all the way down. I really wonder if YFZ, with their quick certs and stuff, if they kind of thought about it and said, hey, you know, like whenever KTM used one tool, how about we use no tools and just do the quick Zerk fittings, or whatever you call them, or quick debuds, something like that. I can't pronounce it. This thing has a recluse and also a hydraulic clutch, so pretty firm pull on it. But with the recluse, you know, you only need to pull it if you're really getting after it. Reverse on the handlebars, which is freaking crazy. Like you get stuck. Literally, one click of your finger, you're in reverse. Click up, back in business. So that's a feature that I don't know who else did that. There was somebody else that did that. It was a KFX, but it's not as good. This one's better. Flex bars on it. We're gonna try to sneak this top nut off of there and see if we just pop that mount up to get it replaced. We need to clean it. I know for sure that some of these mounts, like that one, are not actually, they need to have the rubber inserts in them. Back when I just kind of put it together so I could ride it just a couple times. So we got an oil leak, we got a ODI grips. So we're gonna cut those spider grips off, which were like the OG back in the day. These are a little bit wider and they make my wrist not wanna snap while I'm riding. So we're gonna replace those. We got our new design of the upper mount. So instead of using a squish like from the side and trying to squish the aluminum, this one bolts straight on. So you can see it's split right there. So 4 bolts from the back. I wish it was a little bit tarnished. It's pretty shiny compared to the rest of the bike, but maybe we can get some aluminum brightener after the rest of the bike and really clean it up, you know, show it off. What else we got? We are going to use this. So this is just some scrap PVC, I guess, ABS plastic, 116. So I bought this off of eBay years ago whenever this bike came in. And I had 2 sheets, and y'all see me use it on the YFZ taillights all the time. So now I have 1 sheet, and I'm hoping it's enough because I don't have time to order one. But maybe we cut it straight down the middle. I have a rivet gun. Maybe we silicone and rivet it in there. Maybe we just rivet it. I don't even know if the KTM runs, so we need to put gas in it, put a battery in it, and make sure it actually does run. I was planning on adjusting valves. I'll think about it. I'd rather go ahead and do it. Single overhead cam motor. I think it's like the 706 race cam in it. So whenever I bought it years ago, they weren't exactly sure the last time it had valves adjusted. So that's one of my big things is, you know, do all the steps that somebody would have skipped. That way whenever you go to the trail, then, you know, you did everything. If you have a problem then, it was just meant to happen, you know. That's why you bring the cooler. But other things that were cool, they pre-made a mount on the frame along with the steering stem having a tang on it to direct bolt a Öhlins damper on it. So Öhlins was directly involved in that to literally, like, it was almost like the factory Yoshimura stuff for Suzuki. Like, you can buy a damper at the store, 2 bolts, and you got a badass steering setup. What else was cool about the KTM? Floating front rotors. Almost forgot about that. So if people haven't heard it before, they think it's broken. So you kind of hear like it sounds like bolts are rattling around. You can just barely hear it knocking. That is not bolts rattling around. That is fully floating front rotors. So whenever you hear about race cars and, you know, way up there, like a GTR, Ferrari, Lamborghini level, they have floating rotors. So these are floating rotors from Magura, Magura reservoir still. Same thing with the rear brake, full Magura setup. And this thing's bad. 4 piston front calipers that are fixed, and the rotors are floating so they can fully expand and contract without causing any issues. And I'm pretty stainless steel line from the factory. Like this, even though it retailed for almost $12,000 back in 2008 or 9, I mean, KTM went through it. So doing stuff that other people wouldn't even still dream of to this day. They still wouldn't do it. But KTM did it. They showed up at the track with it, and will literally sell you the four-wheeler at the track, title and all ready to go. Which I know Yamaha gets out there. I'm sure Honda used to, but that was just kind of cool. Like back in the day, go back on YouTube and watch all those videos of KTM literally at the MX track and the cross country track, letting people test ride their stuff. Like, it's, you know, back in the day. Everybody has a back in the day story. That's a back in the day story. Badass curved radiator in it. Pretty sure it's a little bit oversized. What else we got? I think that's probably about it. Well, let's wipe the plastics off so I don't sneeze my head off the rest of the day. So we'll just wipe it down real quick. We're not actually going to wash it. Let's wipe it down. Kind of get a game plan together. See where I'm going to start. Whether I'm going to start on the art project, or if I'm going to start in the steering stem, or if I'm going to cut some grips off to make something easy. I say that, now the grips are going to be the hardest thing. But the grips are just wired, tied on there. The only thing that I would be worried about is the hand guards, because they've been on there so long that the bolts would strip instead of come out. But we got PB Blaster, so we'll take our time with those, make sure we can reuse those, because they got good, solid bark busters on them. But man, if this thing listens and fires up on some 93 and sounds good, looks good, no oil leaks, we're gonna have a freaking field day whenever we take it to the trail, because it's been a minute, and from what I remember, this thing was a wheelie machine if you wanted it to be, but it could dig into a corner. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. You know, one of those fun half-day projects. Just take it out. You know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you know, maybe save it for another day. But we want it to work. So let's get started. Alright, so just like that, you saw the 8mm run around the rear plastic, and she is free. So we're going to bend this up, rear plastic comes right out. God, why can every other manufacturer not do that? Be so much easier. I wouldn't mind a clamp-on filter versus the dirt bike filter. Dirt bike filter is just a little bit more work to get back in there. We could double check that our battery's gonna fit. You know, that whole idea, the universal battery for all of the bikes. So we got our anti-gravity 801 240 cold cranking amps, and yep, like a glove. Even has like the tangs don't have edges on them. It was meant to go in there. That's his home. So let's make an art project out of that rear plastic. So we're gonna cut up some eBay plastic, and I'm gonna brainstorm it while we're cutting it up. But I'm wondering, maybe we silicone this and then stick it on there, but I don't think it's gonna stay. So I think we might be doing rivet guns and rivet it on there and also silicone it. Hopefully I don't fuck it up. I'm trying to think, make sure that that's the way it needs to go on there, because silicone's gonna make a huge mess. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, we're just straight up winging it. So this is the, the outline of the inside of the airbox. I added a lip just in case we decide to do rivets, or we definitely have to do some kind of plastic bond or something. So I think I got enough to do 3 in case we mess up one. So we'll probably just start all the way at the bottom and give it a little bit more room, and then go ahead and cut the first one out. We'll just go roughly around it. Something like that. Alright, round 1, fight. Uh-oh, she kind of fits, almost perfect. Definitely this way. We got a little corner or something we gotta take off right there. It's kind of sticking out. See if we can just catch it with a razor blade or a knife. A little bit better. Dang, that's pretty close. We might be driving to the parts store and just get some kind of plastic bond or something. That other side's completely different. Yeah, completely different. I hope it doesn't vibrate. If it vibrates, it's gonna be loud as hell. I think it definitely needs to go inside the airbox. Outside the airbox, it looks terrible. If we could get some silicone or something, then we could honestly just zip tie it. Just little zip ties around the outside instead of having to worry about a rivet gun. Got our washer on the other side. Did it do it? It did it. Oh, and it's solid. don't think we're gonna be get one on the front. There's not a whole lot of room to get the rivet gun or the drill in there. But maybe we get one more on the back of there. I'm gluing my fingers together. Oh, it's walking. Don't walk. That was kind of sketchy. Little Walker Texas Ranger over here. Alright, I like that better. We'll have to do that on the other side too. Make sure we get it in there. Maybe one more in the back and then we can cut out another piece. Okay, it's going smoother than I had originally thought. So, I think we traced it from the inside. So let's put this under here. This one seems like it's got a little bit more angles in it. Alright, so we're going to go a little bit bigger than what that says. Alright, other side, same, but different. Where's that one from? Somebody leave it in the comments where that's from. Alright, we got our glue. Oh no! That one was kind of weird. That one popped before it really even got tight. Alright, I think they're in there. I don't think they're going anywhere. So let's double check the list. I really wanted to adjust valves, but I kind of need to know if it runs first. So maybe we throw a battery in it and some gas and double check our oil level and see if it makes cool noises. So we're going to worry about our oil leak here here in a minute. I'm not sure if it's coming out of the sprocket. If it's coming out of the sprocket, I might have a OEM transmission seal. If it's coming out of the drain plug, we might just tap the drain plug and see if anything comes out, and then put the drain plug back in with a new crush washer and hope that that does it. But I'm pretty hopeful for the first startup. We're just going to turn it over, no fuel in the tank. If everything sounds good, we'll put some fuel in it, check for fuel leaks, and kind of go from there. Hello? I think we got this guy in backwards. Usually hot has the cover on it. We might have to bend these a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna have to bend them. Both of them. Hello? Oh my God. That one bent pretty easy. Uh-oh. Alright, that might work right there. Air filter's kind of right in the way. Don't know how well grounded this frame is, but we're about to find out whenever we touch 13-volt battery to it. See if we can kind of maybe hold this with our head, just so we don't get sparks shooting everywhere. That's the last thing we need, is short out our $180 anti-gravity battery. That would suck. Alright, batteries in. Cables will kind of take care of themselves. We'll throw that guy on there for safekeeping. Something like that. Airbox might be a little bit off. There we go. Don't forget to take blood plug out, because if you saw the YFZ video, it sounded like a bomb went off. Let's turn the key on. Key is on. It's carbureted, so there's no prime. Hopefully it's in neutral. Nothing. Wonder if a fuse is blown. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Try to pull up on the kill switch a little bit. I know that battery's charged because it came out of a race bike. Nothing. Well, let's double check the battery voltage. Just to make sure, and then we're gonna have to start checking grounds and fuses. $13 volts. Ground. Nothing. Alright, so that's not completing the circuit there, which is fine. Grounds to the frame. Don't know much about the KTMs. And it's been a long time since I messed with one. Starter radiator is about packed full of dirt. So are those. That one's got it. Go back to voltage. So the starter relay says it has voltage across the terminals. Make sure none of these pins are backed out. Pins look good, fuses are good. You might have one more fuse hiding somewhere. Huh. It's been a while. Uh-oh. I don't know what I did. Maybe shook the dirt loose from the starter relay. Maybe just moving it around. So we'll put the covers back on and put it back where it goes. Got that nice and safe back up in there. Well, we heard it kind of, it's pushing. Just throw the plastic back on and make sure that the plastic didn't move anything. okay. It's turning pretty fast. She might go bang bang on the first try. So let's, I already checked the oil level. I know it's got an oil leak in the pan. Air filter is fine for now to test with. So I think engine wise it's fine. I'd like to take the tank off and adjust the valves because it's been sitting a while, and I don't know the last time the valves were actually adjusted. And it being a single overhead cam's fine. It has a big cam in it. So yeah, I like to open it up and at least double check. It's tappet valves, so it'd be pretty quick. No shims to drop or anything. Clutch is probably a little bit crusty because it's been sitting. But let's get some fuel and put it in the tank and see what happens. Make sure the petcock's on. I even remember where it's at on this bike. Oh, it's passenger side. Kind of cool, we got plenty of room to check it out. It's in line with the valve, so I'm going to say that that is on. Pulled the choke and the hot start. See if we can figure out what's going on with the oil on the skid plate. Usually I go ahead and just clean it off, just get a fresh start. Then maybe we can... Alright, next up I think we can pull these 17 millimeters off. Almost all the bikes, they're always 17 millimeter because we got to get to this top cap. This is kind of unique to KTM. They have like a clamp that kind of just rides on the stem that uses a set screw. So kind of unique. I don't know about stronger because Yamaha also went with the aluminum stem. But let's loosen these up, and I hope the cables have enough room. We can just rotate the bars forward and start working on them that way. Then after we get that together, we'll see if we can fish this throttle cable out. I don't know if I want to take the tank off yet or not. close. So close. Uh-oh. Oh, just barely. Got those out of there. Alright, so we got a set screw. Set screw, and then we got this thing. That thing's probably 24 millimeter. God, that was a good guess. Alright, 27 millimeter. I was wrong. We're gonna have to look up the torque specs on this guy too, because the new one's stronger. Don't want to crack it either, because that would suck. Probably need to hammer these inserts out before we go any further. Make sure they don't get stuck in there. Ooh, those are kind of stuck. We'll re-grease all of these guys. Alright, so don't hit your good sockets and your good extensions. This is a Husky extension I got for free, so don't hit your good stuff. Oh my god, that's tight. That's what she said. This thing is just wobbling on there. There's no way that that steering did not have some play in it. And there's our steering bushing that's supposed to hold the whole thing together. It just comes off in pieces. And chunks of aluminum falling everywhere. That looks like it's possibly cast. Do you see where it broke? Right there? That looks like cast aluminum. That does not look like a solid piece of billet at all. Let's see how the new fancy one goes on. We got a little bit more clamping force with a few more bolts. So this one, instead of a pinch setup, it's more of a clamp. So we got more bolts, we got a flatter surface to grab on, and we still got our front set screw. It might not have to come all the way off. They're loose. Fuck. Alright, hit the ground. We're good. We're good. I thought for sure that one was getting stuck underneath the tank. Like 100% stuck underneath the tank. Alright, make sure we got this thing straight. We're going to go ahead and put the set screw in. Alright, that's good and tight on there. Alright, so I think the next step will be to grease our old bushings. They still look okay, so we're just going to add some fresh grease to them. Hopefully the steering will compress that down for us. We won't have to do much work there. Oh no. Alright, I think everything went back together. Ooh, that's way tighter. So before, that little bit of slop probably honestly was the broken clamp. So if we take this, put it back together, kind of broke a little bit weird, but if we smash it, you can see that whole gap right there. And that was probably letting the stem just barely wobble in there. Let's see if we can kind of see some egg shape going on. I don't see any egg shape going on though. But brand new anti-vibe clamp. We're going to acid wash the whole bike, and that piece will hopefully blend in a little bit better then. Right now the aluminum's kind of stained from Georgia red clay, so we will get the aluminum brightener out on all the controls, the stem. I know the nerf bars are dirty, the engine cases are dirty. So yeah, one coat of Aluma Bright and those things will be looking fresh also. Let's see what else we got on the list. The throttle cable is it doesn't feel like it's binding, but I mean, it's still got a little bit of room. Let's pop off the seat and just see how much of a pain in the butt it's gonna be to dig down there to it. Next up, we're still on the handlebars. We're gonna see if we can sneak some brand new ODI grips in here without taking apart too much. Y'all know how handlebars and Nerf bars can be. Sometimes they're a little bit of a pain to get uninstalled and reinstalled. Even if it's on the same bike, sometimes they're still a pain. Well, these were the OGs. Anybody remember those? I think they're called like spider grips or something. And those were the thing. Before pillow tops came first. Then after pillow tops, I think these were called like spider grips or something. And everybody and their freaking brother had to have them. These have some wire ties on them, so I'm hoping they're just wire tied. I'm hoping they're not wire tied and glued, because the glue can sometimes be a pain in the butt. Oh, they're spinning. Just keep spinning, just keep spinning. Just keep spinning, spinning, spinning. Honestly, for how much race time these things have, these things could be reused. Like if we got another set just to throw in the toolbox, we might hang on to those. See how we're doing on space. These are 140s. We might can move the controls in a little bit, and that would help with our cable being a little bit too short also. Let's check the other side. Other side's already at 140. So we might have to move the start switch in a little bit. I think it's probably worth moving in the throttle. So that way we can have 2 clamps versus only only locking down the first clamp. So if we scoot this in a little bit, it's gonna make the bars a little bit more balanced, and we can have a little bit bigger grip. Now these are pretty freaking sweet. The KTM, well really it's Magura, but Magura is just like 1 8mm, perch is completely loose. I don't think life can get much sweeter than that. See, just like that. 1 bolt, slide it in, retighten it. Could have done it on the side of the track. Alright, there's that one. We're gonna have to move our handguard mount in also. That one's got a set screw in it. If we can find that size. That seems like it. Maybe it's not. Oh, that thing's tight. moved it in, lock it back down. I like the angle of the controls right now, so I don't want to change them too much. With how the extended everything is kind of on there. Alright, that's step 2. Clean the dirt out of the throttle screws just a little bit. Make sure we don't strip those guys, because that's a bad day. If you've never done it, don't do it. Hopefully that was enough, because we are against the risers, so there's no more room. It looks like we might just barely kind of contact this one. We're going to take these caps out so we can still use our bar busters. These things are kind of a pain. Gotta get this ODI logo out of there. We might have to put it in the vise. If it even needs to go back on there. I think it'd look cleaner if it did. Yeah, I think it'd look cleaner and give her hand just a little bit more cushion room before it gets cut on anything. See if we can get it in the vise and pop it out. These are being a little bit more of a pain than I thought they were going to be. the screw all the way out and kind of twist them, and they'll pop out of there. So let's see if that effort was worth it. Put these guys back on. Screws always go down so they don't get stuck in our gloves or anything. So bottom. Pop it on the floor. Get it to go back in there. I mean, the bolts will kind of clamp against that, but we can't go any more in. So it kind of is what it is. We're going to get plenty of tension on this top clamp, and the bark buster should hold this end on anyway. Ow! Alright, plenty of tension on that one. We can tighten this one down just for the novelty of it. Something like that. Not too tight because it's barely on there. Put our bark buster support back on. It spaced these out a little bit. So the mount can't go anywhere. They do have this screw, but it's not really adjustable that much. Maybe we can just force it on there. Alright, it seems to be going, so we still got plenty of room for our brake lever. We got friggin' sick fat grips now, and they're even extended compared to what we did have, so that's a win-win. Tighten that one down. Yeah, that's looking much better. So hopefully the other side is just as easy and nothing is stuck. we got our second one. Same thing, we're gonna get this ODI logo out. Same thing, I tried to get the center cap to come out and it just popped the whole thing out. So the other one I kind of just like shoved a screwdriver in right there. See if we can open that clamp up just a little bit. Alright, we got the cap out. Let's see what we're looking like. So the other side is about even. So I'm debating, should we leave it about even or should we make sure this one has both things connected? Maybe we just measure just for the heck of it and just see what it looks like. So let's say 9 1/4. Nine and a quarter. So I think we might leave it. That way the bars are exactly even. Not saying they gotta be, but hey, you know, you can't go wrong if you just match side to side. So screws go down, pop that guy back on there, put our set screw back in. tight, make sure they're even. For some reason I want to say the clutch lever is way down now. Sure feels like it is. I think we're going to do our one screw and bring the clutch lever up just a little bit. That way we don't go fishing for it. I don't want to be fishing for it at 60 miles an hour. It feels pretty good. Tighten that guy back down. Alright, so next on the list, this is kind of like a wear thing. Mike Brits had put Zerk fittings, which is freaking awesome, in the flex bars because they do not come with Zerk fittings. This side doesn't feel so bad. It's got a little bit of play if we compress it, but this side, you can see it is completely free. So we're going to give that one a couple more turns and measure side to side. That's going to be a 12. Nope, 13. Let's see what we got on the other side before we start turning that too much. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threads showing. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is still covered up. So let's give this one a couple more turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's feeling a lot better. I think that's about perfect, and we'll go ahead and grease these fittings while we got it on our mind. And because they don't come with these Zerk fittings, I'm not exactly sure where the grease is going to come out at. But we're here for it, wherever it goes. Alright, it's coming out everywhere. Now it has some pressure behind it. We're just going to wipe all that grease up so it doesn't get on our hands while we're riding. throw the seat back on. See what new controls, new stem, new grips. Make sure everything kind of feels lined up. Yeah, that's feeling like home. I still question for me if the bars are a little bit high because they're about parallel with my shoulders, and if I stand up I feel like I could probably dig into it pretty good, but we might eventually try I don't know if that feels right, but take the risers off, because the risers push the bars forward also. They could be swapped backwards and bring the bars back, but I feel like that'd be too much. So where they're at with the flex bars rotated backwards, I think we're gonna let it eat for a couple more rides, kind of feel it out. You know, it hasn't been out in probably 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. So hopefully it's got a successful first rip on it. We'll probably bring our couple tools just in case something needs tweaking. But we got to fix a front right tire leak on the V-Box. We're probably just gonna glue it with just tire glue and then reinflate it and hope for the best. We're gonna wash it off. We're gonna grease the A-arms, grease anything else that needs to be greased. I'm gonna search for that seal for the sprocket. I think it's the sprocket. We're gonna put a white towel underneath it tonight and see if the drain plug drips at all. If it drips at all, I have crush washers from KTM that we can slap on there and retighten, retorque, and hope that stops the little bit of oil leak that we do have. But after that, I think it's about go time. So we got a couple more days before we're gonna head out. And it's kind of, like not crunch time yet, but you don't want to start slacking and then something come up last minute. So I'd rather get it done, have it sitting here ready to go, battery charged, instead of the night before staying up till 4 a.m. because that sucks. You ask me how I know. Every Durhamtown trip ever, 4 a.m. get up at 6:30 and then head to Durhamtown. Oh, so yeah, looking forward to the Legend coming. think that's a hunting camp. Alright, back in the garage after a day at Iron Mountain for a good friend's birthday. And I think I'm going to take this 30 pounds of mud and do return to sender. I'm sure Iron Mountain is missing it. So we got a freaking mess to clean up. I wish I would have used some SC1 on it, but honestly it kind of hurts my sinuses most of the time. So I didn't want to, you know, coat the hell out of the bike right there at the place and then be sneezing. But yeah, I wish I would have coated it like a day or two before and let it dry. So hopefully this mud comes off with enough degreaser and all that other good stuff. All the normal chemicals we use. One was I threw my tether in, I should have just left it on the handlebars honestly, but I threw my tether in the strap bag and then we ended up leaving the strap bag on the table. So luckily I always carry my race kit or my race toolbox, plenty of zip ties, plenty of missing bolts or like random bolts, hardware, just duct tape, you know, you gotta take duct tape with you. So luckily I was just able to zip tie the kill switch up and that worked perfect. And no, I did not fly off and the KTM did not go flying through the woods because it has a recluse. So if you come off, it's just gonna sail off into the sunset. But luckily it didn't happen. I really need some hand guards for the YFZ. Looking at the damage on these, hand guards are clean. Bam, bam. Mud guards are, these are actually true bark busters. But bark busters stopped all the levers from getting all caked up. So I really need to figure out how to mount these on the YFZ and definitely could just go ahead and get a set of them and get them on there. So yeah, we're gonna roll this thing outside. The only thing I didn't record because we were getting to the last minute was just like a quick oil change. I threw a new crush washer on the drain plug. I'm thinking that's where the leak was. We'll see whenever we get all the dirt out of the way, but I don't see, like if it was from the sprocket like I'd originally thought, there'd be like oil everywhere. All that mud would be wet or like it'd be black. So hopefully it was just the crush washer. We threw a new crush washer on there. Maybe we won't have any more issues out of that. I'm definitely gonna do a valve adjustment. We had to skip it. I don't like doing that, but this time once we get it all cleaned off, we'll go ahead and take the tank off. Double check the valves because they haven't been checked in a pretty long time. But other than that, adjusted the idle whenever we got to the trail. Literally fresh tank of 93 and it started right up. It took about 20 minutes to warm up fully. And then I had to drop the idle down just a little bit. But after that, it was making some power for sure. The side-by-side, not the same story. That fuel in there is like 2 years old. I took it for a quick like test rip before we put it on the trailer. And it held rev limiter and was fine, but literally the first time it spun in the woods, through check engine light, half throttle, it was breaking up. Luckily, I mean, you're not gonna haul ass in the mud anyway, so we just kind of put it around. I mean, it was fine at half throttle all day to make it up any hills you wanted to, but yeah, I'm gonna just have to pump out that gas and just throw it away and hopefully clear codes, undo the battery. I gotta figure out how Can-Am does that. But maybe I can just unplug the battery, fresh 93, and get rid of that code, and hopefully it'll see redline again. But yeah, let's get cleaning, and right now, bam, KTM video is halfway uploaded. So let me throw this last clip on there, and if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. You know, we'll be going to Durham Town. I'm planning in Croom, hopefully in May. We're already trying to find some dates. We're planning possibly Oklahoma, go to Little Sahara in April. That's just a maybe. We don't have any dates. And other than that, I think it's July for the Legends race in Ohio. I am flying out for that because that's badass. So Dustin Wimmer, a bunch of the old pros, you know, check their Facebook, check their Instagram, whatever it is. You know, if you were a fan way back when, I mean, this might be once in a lifetime. So we're going to fly out there and watch the Legends race. They're all pulling down their old race bikes, so it's like being a little kid again. So hit subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. If you like day-to-day updates or like small updates, hit us up on Instagram. We post, you know, short videos, short stories, just what we're working on here and there, and